Now, I think we can all agree that Australia is not a real place, right? You have nigger-sized rats that put dogs in chokeholds. You've got sick cunts that punch said nigger-sized rodents. You've got tiny bears with chlamydia, a recently discovered species of spiders aptly called the big boy, and flora and fauna specifically designed to disintegrate humanity if left unchecked. And despite all of that going on, the Australian government still has time to ban some video games with impunity. And if you would like to know the video game in question that is being banned, I implore you to whisper sweet nothing to that subscribe button while I tell you about Silent Hill. So, Silent Hill F is the newest installment in Konami's spooky game series. Never been a fan of scary games because I am what the kids call bitch made. I've never derived pleasure from scaring myself because I'm not a sick little freak. The last scary game I played was Dead Space, and that was in grade 6, under duress, so you can imagine 12-year-old Gambi was not having a good time. But I digress. So, Silent Hill F was banned by the Australian government on the 14th of March, but was later rescinded on the 25th of March because they're gonna reclassify it closer to the game's release date. But more specifically, they gave it refused classification status, which means the media in question cannot be sold, advertised, purchased, hired, or imported into Australia. You know how crazy your video game has to be for the board of classifying all this media and games and stuff to just look at the scanned information and synopsis of your game and be like, no, we're just not doing it with this one. This one, bin it, allow it, it's not happening. Because the rating applies to games and media that contains content outside generally accepted community standards and exceeds what can be included in the R18+ and X18+ ratings. Again, the fuck going on in your game where it exceeds not only the R18+ but the X18+ rating, bruh. That's 18 plus 2.0, 18 plus the sequel. This time it's personal. Lucky for us, we can get a little bit of an insight into what one can expect when they cut on the game for the first time, because on the Silent Hill F website, when you scroll past all of the promotional material, there's a little warning that reads, "This game contains depictions of gender discrimination, child abuse, bullying, drug-induced hallucinations, torture, and graphic violence." Clearly the F stands for fucking hard, because what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? And furthermore, it goes on to state, if you feel uncomfortable at any point while playing, please take a break from playing or speak to someone you trust. Speak to someone you trust? Hey man, what the fuck is going on in your video game? So yeah, I kinda get why the Aussies would have a little bit of a problem with the funny child abuse and torture video game. It's also very important to note that the game is set in 1960s Japan, and a lot of the stuff that goes on in the game is like a product of like the culture and the times, and that whatever the fuck is going on in the video game is not a reflection of the opinions and beliefs of the developers and people involved. Very, very important to state that, because all of this begs the question, should video games and media just be banned outright for having a little bit of freaky deaky in them? And like with all questions regarding morally dubious content, it depends. Personal opinion mode. Everything I'm about to say is of my own opinion and should not be taken as gospel. In fact, it's just my own opinion. If your video game contains graphic depictions of abuse or violence or psychological whatever the fuck regarding like children and geldom, then yeah, sure, get that shit out of here. Don't fucks with it. Like yeah, we really shouldn't have games depicting school shootings or Def Jam City Asylum, or hell, even just niggas shooting niggas for the sake of shooting them, like hatred, you know what I mean? Outside of all of that stuff, it's really not for me to say, you know? I get that people are into some weird shit, especially when it comes to horror games, and because of how desensitized we are to most of this shit, like, you're gonna have to, like, up the ante when it comes to your horror game. So I fully get that you're gonna see some fucked up shit in a psychological horror game. Like, take Mortal Kombat, for example, right? Don't give a fuck about it. Like, in that game, this is the most graphic way I've seen a character die, like, Ermac Fatality in Mortal Kombat X. That shit is fucking graphic. It is visceral. But I don't think that the game should be banned outright. Like, every combatant, minus Farah in MK10, is of age. They're willing combatants, they know what's going on, and they know that there's a non-zero chance that their head might get well acquainted with the inside of their colon. Hey man, all I know is that there's a line, and like harming children and geldom is on the other side of that line, and just violence for the sake of violence. I don't know. Like I said, it depends. Ooh, side note, while I was looking up the list of banned games in Australia, and there are quite a lot of them, I came across one that was called BMX XXX, which I'm only going to assume is just a bunch of bad bitches riding bikes. And the reason for the game being banned, and I quote, is because of high-impact sexual references. What do they mean by that? This is curious, and I refuse to do any further research because the idea of a Hun doing a 360 flip on a bike and absolutely biffing it tits first into someone's frontal cortex is infinitely funnier than the reality of the situation, I'm assuming. So there's that. Moral of the story, these hills are anything but silent, and quite frankly, violent. And if I was an Australian client, I would sail the 7 seas like a one-legged tyrant. For me personally, I could go without the spookies. Sucks to suck, Australia. Sorry that they're banning the game, but yeah, no skin off my nose when it comes to the spookies. I think Australia has a lot more to worry about than some freaky deaky video games, like the fact that everything there is trying to kill them, or the fact that there's a small subsect of South Africans that keep immigrating there for reasons I just can't quite place my skin color on. But hey, stay safe. If you grow up, I will literally imbue your soul into every copy of Silent Hill 1 through F so that you could experience every excruciating death that the protagonists go through. Leave a like, drop a sub, and I will love you niggas in the next video. Oh yeah.